Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today I'm reviewing Bomb Simulator on the PlayStation 5. Now this came out very recently on the PlayStation and to me it looked like a lot of fun. I like these obscure simulator games. I've played and reviewed quite a lot of them on this channel. I like Thief Simulator, things like that. And they can be really obscure, but also quite a lot of fun. And what you get here with this game is definitely a game that not you shouldn't really be taken seriously. You start off the game as a bomb. You wake up. I don't know if you're in some kind of fever dream, but basically your shopping trolley talks to you. He's basically your guide through the game, and he teaches you how to rifle through bins for trash, for food, how to navigate the city, how to find people that are going to give you missions, and so on and so forth. He is your guide to being, the best bum that you can be. Teaches you how to beg as well. So there's quite a few mechanics going on in this game. It's actually a fairly complex game hidden beneath a ridiculous concept, I suppose. It's an open world game, albeit not exactly a vast map or anything like that, but it's certainly open world. It's intentionally, I think, set out to kind of remind you of Grand Theft Auto in regards of when you get to a mission area, there's a big yellow circle there that you just walk into to start the mission. If you fall foul of the law in this game, the police will chase you, very much as in GTA. And it's like a wanted system, 1 star, and they'll give up fairly quickly. 2, 3, 4, 5. It gets more intense as it goes on. So very tongue in cheek. It's trying to be a little bit of GTA here, but in its own cheeky little way, I suppose. There's even building that happens in this game. You can kind of build your own base, which I genuinely didn't expect. I knew very little about this game. I know it's probably been out on PC for a few years now. These games generally turn up on PlayStation when they've been out on PC for a while. And you navigate your way around the city. You do different missions for different people. You upgrade your skills. You need to kind of beg to make money. And you need money for a few different things, obviously, to kind of buy things in vending machines and so on and so forth. You can then upgrade yourself. There's like a skills section so that you can upgrade, your health and stamina and all this kind of stuff. You need to eat and drink to survive here. So, as explained, you've got to rifle your way through the rubbish and find drinks, find food, and most of it is rotten. To be fair, the food that you find in these bins, but he can eat it, it's not a problem, all that kind of stuff. And you can also buy from vendors as well, like real food, and sometimes you'll find alcohol, all this kind of stuff, and you can kind of store it because your inventory is your shopping trolley, but you've only got so much space. So what you're gonna have to do initially is like gear yourself up. One of the early missions is to get your beloved pigeon, and this pigeon is not just any old pigeon. It is used as a weapon. So if you throw this pigeon at people, it's like a weapon, and it will kind of kamikaze into them and knock them over, and you can upgrade the pigeon so that it actually explodes as well. So as mad as all this sounds, it is like some crazed fever dream. All of this actually happens. You can urinate on people, which is a thing in this game. You can get into fights, gang fights. So there's like different gangs around the city, and you can kind of go in and break up fights. They might be bullying people in your kind of bum gang, so you'll beat all them up, blow them up, whatever, and then you'll rescue people. And then you've got different missions to do, and they could range from any number of things, dropping bombs off at certain places, going to a certain place, taking out all the cameras so that you can rob certain things, and so on and so forth. And it is really as mad as it sounds. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this game is, cutting edge or anything like that, because it really isn't. All the mechanics here are fairly basic stuff. The build mechanics, it works, it does its job. At your base, you've got like a workstation where you can kind of build new things. You can go into a build mode and you can build a castle out of cardboard, basically. Whereas in other build games, you're building things out of cement and stuff like that, and wood. And here, it's pretty much cardboard until you start upgrading things. And then there will be other gang members that will kind of attack and invade your space, so you can set up defensive perimeters and all this kind of stuff. You can upgrade your sleeping area. You can build storage boxes. There's actually a surprising amount of things for you to kind of build. If that's your sort of thing, if you're one of these players that likes to play Fallout 4 for the build mechanics, you're probably going to find, this is obviously not to the standard of Fallout 4. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is it's done in a similar way. If you like, it's not. You're not going to lose hours and hours and hours in the building part of this game, but it's there if you want to kind of dabble in it. You can kind of build yourself like gardens to grow things and all this kind of stuff, and you go around raiding bins and rubbish tips for scrap that you need. And then if you find, radiators or doors and things like that, you can come back to your recycling point and scrap them into like scrap metal or wood to help you build and improve upon the things within your base. So essentially, this is the game that you are presented with here. It is not meant, I don't think, certainly, to be taken too seriously, obviously. It's not an expensive game. I think I paid $11.99 for this. I think that is actually a decent price for a game of this, complexity, I suppose. It isn't it's not the most comprehensive game I've ever played. It's not the most complex mechanics or deep mechanics or anything like that. But it has actually genuinely surprised me a little bit as to the how deep this kind of game goes and what's involved in it. I thought it was just going to be a silly, very basic little game where you're pretending to be, where you're a beggar sort of thing, or a bum, as they call them in this game, and you're just going to kind of sit outside shops and beg, and maybe a few other comedic things thrown in for good measure. But there's actually an attempt here to develop an actual game, as daft as that sounds, with really bonkers characters scattered around the map who will each give you different missions. So there's a decent amount to do here. It's not one of these, some of these many games that you see on the PlayStation Store that, charge you money, you buy the game, or you're tricked into buying the game, you play it, and it's like the most you're going to get out of it is maybe half an hour because it's just, essentially garbage with very little effort put in. While this game obviously isn't the prettiest, and it's very janky and jerky and all that kind of stuff that you would expect with a game of this kind of budget and level, there is a genuine effort here to make a fairly entertaining game. And it's quite funny as well. I'm not going to lie, I've giggled a few times playing this game. Some of the lines of dialogue they come out with are pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. So, a sense of humour is definitely recommended when you're playing this game. It's pretty raw, there's a bit of swearing going on in it, and it doesn't kind of hold back, and it is like one of the most obscure and strange games I've ever played, but it's genuinely a game I've quite enjoyed for the price point sort of thing. It's not going to win any awards, but it's certainly a game that you're going to put a decent amount of hours into if you're going to commit to this. Just don't go into it expecting a masterpiece for the money that you're paying for it, because you're absolutely not going to get that. Understand what you're paying for here for $11.99. It's not a AAA game. It's a fun, unique game with some decent moments. So I hope you enjoyed checking out this review. I will be back, of course, with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.